Good morning. My name is Jonathan Carr. I work in the theater department, and I'm here with Paula Ries. I'm here to talk today about how, as a director, I rely on costume design to communicate about the world of the play and also the world of the characters within a play. My creative research is as a director, and in that we engage our students in both acting and in construction of sets, and in this case costumes, and as you'll see in the first production I'm going to talk about, actually in the design, a production of number 11 Blue and White that I directed here with the costume design by a student, Molly Ballerstein. The world of the play that the costumes are telling about in this is a serious world in which characters, as we do in life, wear something different for each particular kind of event that they're going through. They attend a school that uniforms are in, and so you see society being defined, in this case, by the school uniforms that they wear and how an individual differs from that society in the variations that they use in their uniforms. So we see the skirts and the ties and the different ways these students use them. And in this kind of world, this serious world, characters at a different time of day dress in a completely different way, as we might expect, and they stratify themselves based on their place in the society. And this is a play that studies very carefully the role of sort of a caste system within this high school. In a campier world, which actually took place at a summer camp, of a world premiere that I directed here called Billy Witch, there is another kind of a uniform, but this is the uniform of campers who fit into a category. The idea of their relative status within the camp is told by how they wear their 70s style camp uniform that you might have found in a movie like Meatballs. So in it we see the high socks and the identical shirts worn by old campers who know the drill, and the camper in the center whose socks are down and whose shirt is out because he doesn't know the way here yet. The counselors are in their own kind of uniform. To the left, we have a camper who's actually from the past and is a ghost, as this is a ghost story, who doesn't get shoes anymore and has an older style of shirt. The transformations that take place in this world come in the form of the campers experiencing puberty, and their puberty is represented by them taking transformations as different kinds of animals. One of the characters, they go out to the makeout station, and the new camper finds his hand in the pants of his friend and discovers she has tentacles because she's turning into a squid. In this slide, we see that squid's best friend turning into a bat. We see the camp head's wife emerging as a wolf, and our lead camper doesn't turn into anything. He gets stripped down, quite literally. In The Marriage of Bet and Boo, costume takes a different role in this cruel, absurd play where the characters are frozen in a moment in time. It's not a play called The Wedding of of Bet and Boo, but in fact they spend the entire play in what they wore at their wedding. So their marriage is defined by this incredibly inappropriate event that never should have happened in their lives. And there they are, this woman Bet through 5 pregnancies, all but one of which end in miscarriage. And even when she's giving birth, she's there in her wedding dress. She loses each of the babies in successively crueler and crueler ways, and the narrator character in this last has to find a way to relieve the character of the baby bump, which is the only thing she adds or removes from scene to scene. In this scene, as there was no moment for her to exit the stage, we found the solution was for the baby bump in this one scene to be an actual balloon, and the narrator came by and popped it. Cruel and absurd. And the last example is a production of Company that I directed here last year, which is more of a reflective world. And here we have characters dressed to reflect their lives through the lens of a given character. So the one character at this, in the back, in the center, upstage center, is Bobby, and we see all these characters as he sees them. And in this case, in a sort of slightly contemporized Mad Men world, which is where the social mores of this play fit best. His married friends and his girlfriends. And we see that even in this world, when they need to do something more specific, like get married, or in this case, not get married today, they can remove an article of clothing and be in a wedding dress, and yet still roughly be in the same world that the characters are. I'm very proud to be sharing the stage with Paula Ries, who, as I said, we engage our students in our creative research. She is an alumna of the program who is now returned to us to work as a professional, and she is doing the costume design for the production that we are heading into tech for this weekend, which is The Phantom Lady, which Paula will tell you about.
Thank you, Jonathan. So pretty much whenever you get the script, you read the script is the first thing you do as a designer. Then you start a conversation with the director, and then you kind of start your research into the world of the play. This play it was written in 1629, so it's right at the very end of the Renaissance period, starting the Cavalier period. So one of our conversations that Jonathan and I had was about, you know, some of the characters are going to be more Renaissance, others are going to be more Cavalier, just based on their characters, and we get to see their progression throughout the play. My next part of the research is actually looking into more character research, and for just like, you know, looking through lots and lots of well, not photographs, we're looking at paintings at this period. And as a costume designer, you try to find primary resources versus secondary resources. So in this period, of course, we had paintings to look at and some drawings, and then you look at so many of these and you start to really get a grasp for each character. And then here's our women as well. In this play, we also play with class. More modern plays, you know, we don't notice class as much. But in this time period, we are playing with class with our upper class women, and then we also have the servant class of these ladies. So while the lower classes are wearing similar styles of the period, their materials are not as fine as the upper class ladies. And then for progression in going from the Renaissance to more of a Cavalier period, we get to see this the most with our main character, Angela, which she is widowed and she's been forced to live with her two brothers in Madrid, and she's has a very Renaissance look in the beginning because she's having to put on all these different clothes, what society is telling her what she needs to be, and then come to Act 3, which is the photograph on your right, is more of a Cavalier period where she's expressing who she really wants to be towards the end. And then also as a costume designer, we try to focus on groupings of characters, where you'll see on the two next to each other, these are brothers, and I'm trying to create a similar like trunk hose style, which would be our trousers, style for them to kind of have a difference between our main character, Manuel, which is coming from a different city to stay with them, so he's got a different style. And, you know, different areas would have different styles in this time period. And then even within the servants, we have a hierarchy there as well. On the top, we have more of a ladies' maid, so they're going to have a little bit finer clothing. They actually have 2 layers of skirts versus like the lower class servants on the bottom where they only have 1 skirt. And then, of course, we have a shameless plug. Please come see the play. And for final design, we are working fast and furious in the costume shop. This is kind of a little sneak peek. Of course, the doublet that you see is going to be all fancied up for one of our characters. But it's been wonderful, like working with Jonathan. It's been what I love about theater is such a collaborative process. You know, you bring your ideas to the table. Everybody brings their ideas to the table, and you just create something like better than you could ever imagine yourself by working with each other. But thank you very much. Please come see the play.